So with the rulebook changes, there are other things that need changing too. We have a lot of work to do. We've had a lot of questions about YADAR and track limits and track guides and updates and everything on SCR, because obviously with 3.18 everything is changing, and we're kind of using this opportunity to get our own house in order. So we are, as XGR, redoing all of the track guides and all of the rules for the tracks, and that means new track guide videos, that means new track guide images, and we will make sure that they are all the same, you know, because when we grew up as XGR, obviously we saw lots of iterations and changes over time, and so now we get a chance to kind of pick a format, make it all look pretty and clear. And even though we haven't made a track like YADAR or Miner's Lament, we will sure make a track guide, and we are going to race there. So we will have some XGR rules and maybe some track limits, things like that. And we have a little sneak peek for you as well on that.
Reaction in chat.
Oh. So this is what we're aiming for every track where XGR is racing. This will go on SCR and it'll be in our videos. But most importantly, it's interactive. So you can go ahead and orbit this in its entirety. You can see where the start finishes. You can see where the track goes. We will mark turn names and things like that, so it's easy for you to talk about where's what.
Track
and
limits.
Yes, we did name the turn names for YADAR already. we talked to Nino and we said, hey, do you have any turn names? And he said, no, just turn numbers. I said, do you mind? He said, no, please do. So here, for example, you can see we mark some areas with these red corners, and that is, let's say, a track limit of significance, right? There are some general rules, and I won't go over them all now, but just so you know, whenever there is like a red thing like this, you know that there is something important that you need to avoid. Here we've got the rock. I've been calling it the Rock Island to everybody, and I kept almost calling it the name, which I wanted to not do it yet. Henceforth, this location will be known as the dealer's choice.
Wow.
So then we go, because these are all, we should go through them in order, right? We've got tunnel vision. Yeah. Then we've got Drifter's Hideout, because it's kind of, I mean, what's
reference to Drifter's Paradise for sure. Yeah.
So then we've got Dealer's Choice, because, you know, it's up to you, you know, where you go around it. Then, you know, let's get a breath of fresh air. And then we make our way to the gate. And
those are my favorite names.
We go up this stairway, and then it is up through heaven. And here you've got one of those really important track markers again, because this is kind of a gate, but it's open at the top, right? And we still want to limit how you take this, at least when you're doing an XGR race. So we've put these little corners here so that you understand that you can't go too wide or too far to the left either, right? You have to basically go between the fork as you pass through heaven. Then it's down to rock bottom, which is the chicane slalom section here, right, left, right. And this one we got a lot of questions about. We call it split decision for a reason. You can go through either of the holes when you go underneath this pillar. So this is probably the best route, but I'm gonna leave this up to Shaq to design, to find out, because I've taken the large route too. Or the wide route, sorry. And it feels good, but it's probably too much ground. You do carry more speed, but then if you do carry too much speed, you're going to be wider here on the next section, which doesn't help you because you'll end up pinching this corner, which then makes the final turn really tough, which is called The Reckoning with a W.
The Reckoning. Almost the name of our XGR podcast. If you look on top, The Awakening.
It'll be the next podcast will be The Reckoning, right? Question, is this browser? Yes, this is entirely browser based, and this will be on SCR. So when any racer goes to SCR, they will get this right on the page. So this will be right there. We're using Sketchfab for anybody that's curious about the tool. It's it's free to use. And yeah, this is gonna be for all tracks, and this will really help navigate some of the more complicated 3D tracks as well. Think about Grim Hacks and Beautiful Glen. It's all going to be there. Again, kudos to CIG and Nino for making one hell of a track, because this track is awesome.
Oh, yeah. We've got kind of a track list on Race XGR. It's scuffed and links back into SCR, right? So we have a close partnership with SCR.GG that does all the time trialing. So that'll probably get updated on Race XGR too for our list of tracks. So.